1. The March into a Dead City. In late 1942, the Eastern Front had already turned into something far more terrifying than a battlefield. It had become a machine, one that consumed entire armies, erased cities, and left nothing behind but silence and ash. But even in this chaos, one name stood above the rest: Stalingrad. It was more than a city. It was a symbol, a psychological target. For Adolf Hitler, capturing Stalingrad meant breaking not only the Soviet defenses, but their identity. The German Sixth Army advanced with confidence. These were experienced soldiers, hardened by previous victories. They had pushed through Europe, defeated powerful armies, and believed this would be no different. As they moved closer, the sky darkened with smoke. The city had been bombed relentlessly. Buildings collapsed into each other. Streets disappeared under rubble. From a distance, Stalingrad looked like a corpse, dead, silent, finished. But it wasn't. The moment German troops stepped inside the city, they realized something was wrong. There were no front lines, no safe zones, no clear enemy positions. Gunfire came from nowhere. A shot from a broken window, an explosion from beneath the ground, movement behind a wall that should have been empty. The Soviets were invisible, but everywhere. Every step forward carried risk. Every corner could mean death. And slowly, without realizing it, the army began walking into a trap. 2. A city that refused to die. Fighting in Stalingrad was unlike anything the German soldiers had experienced before. There were no open battlefields, no organized advances, only ruins, narrow streets, collapsed buildings, endless debris. Combat became close and personal. Soldiers moved from room to room, clearing buildings one by one. Doors were kicked open, grenades thrown inside. Gunfire echoed through hollow structures. But often, the soldiers who entered never came back. Soviet troops waited in silence, hidden in shadows, behind walls, beneath floors, sometimes only a few meters away. Snipers became a constant fear. A single movement, a flicker of light, careless step could end a life instantly. Even when a building was captured, it rarely stayed that way. Hours later, it could be retaken. The same ground, fought over again and again. The city refused to fall, and the deeper the Germans pushed, the harder it became to leave. 3. The trap closes. In November 1942, everything changed. The Soviets had been waiting, preparing, watching. And when the moment came, they struck. But not from the front, from the sides. The German flanks were weak, defended by Allied forces that were not prepared for a massive assault. They collapsed quickly. Within days, the situation transformed completely. The German Sixth Army was no longer advancing. It was surrounded, encircled from all sides, cut off from reinforcements, cut off from supplies, cut off from escape. Around 80,000 soldiers were now trapped inside the ruins of Stalingrad. And as the realization spread, so did the fear. Because winter was coming. 4. Frozen hell. The temperature dropped fast, below minus 30 degrees Celsius. The cold wasn't just uncomfortable. It was lethal. Weapons froze, metal jammed, engines refused to start. Breathing hurt, skin cracked, fingers went numb, then black. Some soldiers tried to sleep through the night. Many never woke up. Their bodies frozen in place by morning. No sound, no struggle, just silence. Death by cold. Each day became harder than the last. The city was no longer just a battlefield. It had become a frozen graveyard. 5. Hunger and madness. Food disappeared. At first it was rationed, then reduced, then gone. The soldiers ate what they could: horses, scraps, frozen remains, leather belts, anything. Hunger changed them. Bodies weakened, minds slowed. Some stopped speaking. Others stared endlessly into nothing. And then the whispers began. Stories, rumors, things no one wanted to confirm, but no one could ignore. This was no longer war. This was survival, and survival has no rules. 6. The end of an army. By January 1943, the army was broken, not defeated in battle, destroyed from within. Starvation, cold, hopelessness. The final order came: surrender. The soldiers laid down their weapons. Slowly, silently, they began to walk, not as an army, but as survivors, out of tens of thousands. Only a few would ever return home. The rest remained, in the snow, in the ruins, in silence. Stalingrad was not just a defeat. It was the complete destruction of an army, and a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you cannot escape.